I wish I knew what somebody was going to do to me before they did it. I know that's like such wishful thinking, but don't you kind of wish if someone was going to hurt you that you would know about it beforehand? That somebody would warn you, yo, they're kind of capping. They're not serious about what they're talking about. I focus so much on what other people are doing and how it will impact me, in what way, that I struggle to focus on what I can control. What can you control? It is such a weird question to ask because for a lot of us, there is seemingly not much we can control. Like, you can't control where you're born. You can't control if, your girl is asking you to go to Chili's for the first date. Red flag. But you can't. What can you do? Right? But in reality, you can control a lot. Actually, I would argue you can control more than you think. And the things that you can control, those are the things that deserve the most attention. Yet we blind ourselves so many times with what someone is going to say, how they are going to act, if or when they will change for us. That's a big one. You hear a lot of promises in relationships. You hear a lot of people saying a lot of different things. But how do you know if it's true? Like, how do you know if your girl, your bro, I don't know, even your parents are serious about what they're saying, or if they're just trying to tell you what you want to hear, but they are going to act a completely different way? You can't. You can't. I can't. As much as I would love to know that somebody is going to be truthful to me, I don't know. IDK, it's that simple, and you will never truly know. But what you can do is you can make sure that everything that's in your control is taken care of. All the things that you want to say, you said them. All the actions of love and appreciation you wanted to give them, you did. All the phone calls that you promised them, you called them. Because outside of that, the rest is not up to you. And maybe we were led to believe at some point that it was. Maybe you were guilted into believing that like so many breakups in your past were your fault, when in reality, they weren't. It's never just one person's fault. There are always different characteristics at play, different factors at play. It always takes two to tango. And if one person is accusing you of taking the wrong step, maybe they're the one that's not not in the rhythm, What can you control? What can you control? And what are you selling yourself short on? What are you making yourself seem like you can't do when in reality you can? Because it might be difficult. And no one said it was going to be easy, but just because it's difficult doesn't mean it can't be done. Just because you can do better doesn't mean that you have to punish yourself in order to do so. Just because right now it sucks, whether that's the relationship, whether that's your life, it doesn't mean you can't change it, and it is doomed. I think that we have become so accustomed to living in the extremes because that's all we see, when in reality, life is a lot more mundane and it's a lot more mid. That's the truth. It's just mid. Sometimes it's just not good, but it's not bad. And we have been led to believe that because we are just existing, we're not doing enough. But you're doing everything in your control. It's just sometimes you're not supposed to be happy all the time. You're not supposed to be on a private jet all the time. I'm not on a private jet. I'm doing just fine, man. Chilling. And it's dangerous to rely on other people all the time. It's a very dangerous way of thinking. And listen, I don't think that you should be completely individual with everything. You need to reach out to people. You need to know how to balance asking for help and knowing when to do something yourself. But I think that worrying about other people and how other people will impact you, and it's not in your control, you cannot worry about that. You can't. At least you can be prepared. Okay, I know potentially that this person might say something behind my back and it might start a feud. I know potentially that if I go to this party, maybe I'm going to be seen with somebody that I shouldn't be seen with. Which, if you're getting in that kind of situation, what are you doing? Again, there are levels to that you can control, but so many of us are afraid of just making mistakes that creates this fear and this need for control and this need for I need to know that I'm going to get hurt so I can prepare myself for getting hurt. You don't want to feel the whole pain, and that's part of the problem. That's why it is so easy to just like cut yourself off mentally from a relationship or cut yourself off mentally from yourself. You don't even allow yourself to go through the healing process of like figuring out, yo, that sucks that my friends made fun of my passions and now I have to do it in secret. But you know what? I still shared what I loved. I still did what was important to me. Just because, like, I can't control that they're going to make fun of me and laugh at me for it does not mean that I just stop doing it. Maybe it means they're not really my friends. The reframing. You know, people like to talk about how it's a victim mindset, whatever. I don't think it's that as much as it is allowing things that were not your fault to become your fault. And that's where I think the difference lies, because just because you are put in a situation that is really, really rough and terrible and makes you, think how you got there in that booth at at Chili's. I gotta stop with this. Chili's be catching strays, man. All right. Just because you got in a pretty rough situation, it does not mean that that was necessarily your fault. There are aspects of it that maybe could have been prevented 100%. I won't sit there and try to tell you that, oh, it's not your fault. No, of course, all of us have something that we contribute to a situation, whether we like it or not. But worrying about everything far and in between of like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I can't believe this person harmed me and hurt me. Is that really focusing on what you can control? Because you can't control that. What you can control is recognizing that you got hurt. It's recognizing that, that hurt. That stung. Them, like, throwing me under the bus. Doesn't sit right with my ego, doesn't sit right with my spirit. It actually makes me feel really sad. It's a beautiful thing that you can control. Just admitting that you have that emotion. Suppressing it and putting it down, I mean, that's a choice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's the wrong choice, because sometimes we do not have the luxury of going through our emotions. Some of us, we got families that if they see our weakness, they will exploit it. I get that. But also, you are allowed to be sad. You are allowed to, like, feel hurt about things that happen in your life. You don't need to like deflect it, because that is something you can control. And emotions are meant to be felt. They're meant to be experienced. The more that you tell yourself you are not allowed to feel a certain way, the worse that feeling will get. And I used to be somebody who would suppress that a lot. I would suppress sadness a lot. And I would suppress pain. I'd be like, I'm in pain, but I'm not allowed to feel it. And who's to say that you're allowed or not allowed to feel anything? It's your life. If you are in pain, you are allowed to feel it. And you should, because it's something that's in your control. The fact that somebody else inflicted this pain on you, maybe you had no control over that, but you now have this thing, which is that emotion. And it is now your problem. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't, but now it is your problem. Your duty is to go through that emotion. It is. Your duty is to just feel it, man. It's not to find the next relationship that will make you forget about your ex. It's not to, I don't know, go and hang out with a new crowd of people because the old one, they didn't like you. Feel the emotions. Stop distracting yourself from the fact that it sucks. Because that's something that you can control. You can control going through those things. You can reclaim ownership over feeling bad about what's going on. And it is normal to feel bad. You can control how you interact with yourself and if you decide to treat yourself well. And I don't do it enough. It is very hard for me to treat myself well, but what I am realizing is the more that I allow myself to, I don't know, convince my brain that I am not worthy of X, Y, and Z thing. I don't deserve a smoothie, or I don't deserve to go to the gym because I haven't grinded enough, because I haven't locked in enough. That is perpetuating the cycle of me feeling terrible about myself and feeling like I do not matter. But the beautiful thing about that and those emotions, I can control those things. I can allow myself to do good things for myself. I can allow myself to feel better about my situation by exercising, by writing, by going and doing something with somebody, by telling someone. Action. Action. You need to follow action. That is the only way change happens. Yes, you can think about it. Yes, you can sit there and be like, oh, okay, maybe if I did this, maybe I'd do that. The more you think, the less you do. You can believe me or you can, choose not to. That's fine. But I am telling you right now, I am somebody who was a chronic overthinker. I never did anything. Because I was too busy thinking about what's out of my control, when I should have been thinking about what I can control. Right now, you can control if you want to go for a walk. Right now, you can control if you call your homie and say, hey, what's up? We should go watch a movie or something. I'll pick you up at 7. Right now, you can control the way you interact with people and that you treat people with kindness and you don't, shrug people off and call them cringe just because they're doing something you wish you could do. I've been there. If you are in pain, experience it. Experience it. That's all I'm really asking. And don't look for reasons. You know what the reason is. And oftentimes it's not your fault. So deal with it. Learn from it, right? Look at what happened objectively. Be like, all right, when I hang out with this person, they really make me feel self-conscious and they really are just not nice to me. Well, wait, that's kind of a mirror to myself of why am I hanging out with this person? They want to tear me down. They want to make these comments about how I'm not good enough or whatever. Why do I entertain this person? Okay, maybe I shouldn't hang out with them. Hey, we did it. That's in your control. That's in your control. All right, let's act on it. We sweep too many things under the rug, and then we like to focus on other people's issues and how other people are going to interact with us, and we like to feel like we do not have any kind of power in our own lives. And I'm just here to tell you that that's not true. You can make decisions for yourself. You don't have to make decisions based on what people, society, or what your parents think is correct for you. You need to be in tune with what you want. And that takes going down to like a small level, like a day-to-day level. Simple stuff. Like, what do you wear? Do you wear stuff for yourself, or do you wear stuff because, oh, that's, I got to look this way so I can seem this way? What can you control? What can you control day to day? What can you do for yourself to make your life a little bit easier? Because this life isn't easy, and it will get harder. I'm telling you, as you get older, you get more things that you need to focus on. And if you do not learn how to work with yourself, man, it will be difficult. You will be your worst enemy, and you will not even be able to enjoy anything in your life. And that does not sound like a good time, Zerky Show. That does not sound like a good time.